Hello there. So this weekend it's 4 weeks to Challenge Wanaka and it's all getting just a little bit close. So I have had to start looking at more specific things that are race related. So I took a look at the course, the Challenge Wanaka course. I have sort of been adopting this approach up till now. So this course is pretty tough, and I always knew that, but yeah, now I know exactly how tough. It is a course that is actually replicated on Ruby, and I have actually swapped my program out to Ruby from Zwift so that I can ride on the actual course. This is something that I would do normally before, when I was a able-bodied triathlete. I'd go and drive around the course or cycle around it if I can. And Wanaka's not nearby, and I feel quite terrified about cycling around the course, so virtually cycling is the next best thing. Now, Ruby is pretty damn cool because the graphics really are amazing, and I have tried it before and didn't like it, but actually this time round I'm actually liking it a bit more than Zwift at the moment. It's actually given me a bit more motivation. When I tried the Challenge Wanaka course on Ruby, I actually know the course. I've driven around it in other places, know where all the places are. So when I was cycling around it, I recognised where I was. Now, Ruby isn't as widely used as Zwift, but that didn't matter to me because now Ruby have added some virtual, like, fake friends. So you can have 3 or 4 robo riders riding with you that all go at about your pace, which is really neat because no one ever goes at my pace. I'm that slow. So that was nice. It virtually feels like you've got some mates and you know where you're going because I've been there. Actually, really, it does really look like the real deal. I'll show you just a little clip. So when I do a screenshot, it actually looks like a photograph. It's quite amazing. Now, what I did this week with my long ride is I cycled the Challenge Wanaka course. Now, the Challenge Wanaka course on Ruby is the Challenge Wanaka triathlon course, and it's 90 kilometers. Mine is 120. The bit that is missing is an out and back along a road to Taras. Now, it looks to me from the maps that it is relatively flat compared to everything else, so I'm not too worried about that. So I cycled the rest of it, the other 90k. Yeah, I did 20k one night after work, Tuesday night after work. Now, I went further than I thought I was going to, and I also went faster than I thought I was going to be frank with you. My speed average was sort of 21 kilometers an hour, and that's me and my bike and no other assistance, so I was quite pleased with that. Then when I went to bed that night, I thought, right, I am going to do this entire course tomorrow and finish it. Now, because I know where I am, because I can tell on the maps how far I've got to go, which areas I've got to go through, I've had a lot more motivation to finish than I have with Zwift's virtual reality, which is a lot more game-like. Now, they both have their merits, and Zwift has been something I've used for many years, but right now, where I'm at right now in race prep, Ruby is working better for me. So I knew when I set off that I was on the road out to Howia, that I had to get through Howia, down to the Red Bridge, along to the road to Taras and back again, up past the Red Bridge, past the airport, blah, 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 onto the Cardrona Road, and then when I'm coming down into Wanaka, I know I'm nearly finished, and all of that actually works out in the program mode too. So I finished the course off. I did 20 odd K the first night, and then the rest of it the next day. 700 meters of climbing, 67 kilometers in total, and 3.5 hours that took me on the bike, just me and this 1.5 legs. Man, that was tough. And I thought I'd be a wreck afterwards. But actually, my fitness has come a long way in this last couple of months that I've been doing this, because I remember, and I've mentioned this a lot, the first time I did a long bite, I was totaled. I led in the corner and I felt like didn't work, like, and I was absolutely toast until about Wednesday. You could have gone to sleep in bed for days. But this long bike ride was yesterday. I got off the bike, came into the house, my legs weren't hurting to walk on, which is good really, and I had a shower and went out for coffee. So I felt really tired. Yes, I did, like sort of tired, but today my legs feel okay. I don't have any DOMs or anything like that, and man, I was working hard, I really was. Just the one little disadvantage is that because my left leg's not as strong, my right's doing a lot more work, and that knee replacement starts to grumble towards the end there with all the force it's taking. So the more strength I can get through this left leg, the better my right knee will be. That's for sure. So then I had to contact the Challenge Wanaka team. Now I did this because I wanted to just be doubly sure that they had me down as a para athlete in the right category, because I entered it way back at the last year and there was no para categories at the time, and I wanted to make sure they'd done that right before the start list get published. I have not been able to find any para-athlete results for this race. I've been told there has been a few here and there, but I've not been able to locate them, so I don't know how far back in history that goes. There certainly wasn't any last year. Anyway, the challenge team get back to me, and yeah, I forgot to tell Triathlon New Zealand that I'd changed my surname. So they thought I hadn't been classified. Whoopsie. So we've sorted all that out. Anyway, the crux of it is, yep, I am the only para. So yep, it's just me, myself and I. So do you know what? When I cross that finish line, there'll be an extra big, I fucking did it, because there'll be no other paras that have body parts missing that will have finished it. So that really does, yeah, humble me. And it just goes to show you how tough this race is. That it is a national champ for paras, but championships for paras, but really not many, if any, ever enter it. So then I have to think about other things like race prep and stuff. And they asked me about transitions. They asked me what sort of help I need, and I want to be sure that I've got everything that I need to have, that it's all prepped, because half the time nobody has thought of half the stuff I have, because there's just not enough para athletes around here. So I went to the shop, got a shirt, and made a para athlete handler shirt for my partner, who's going to be my handler. The reason I did this was so that when he's walking about in and out of transition, there is no question about who he is and what he should be doing there, and he doesn't get interrogated every time. So here's what his shirt looks like. La la! And it's the same on the other side. That's just to identify him, because he's allowed to do a certain number of things to help me out through transitions and whatnot. Tomorrow I am going to the limb centre, and I am picking up the last piece of equipment that I've been waiting for, and I'm hoping this will make my transitions a little smoother. We've yet to practice it though. We are getting a quick change connector put on my bike leg so I can take the post off and put a foot on. Then I've got some sort of way of walking through transition from one place to another. It's not going to be very stable because it's a bike leg and the bike socket's not meant for walking on, but it's better than having no foot at all, wouldn't you say? So I will let you know how that goes tomorrow. My bike is also going to the shop for its last few checkups and stuff like that. And then next week we are on to the Ruby. So that will be my first race where my partner gets to practice transitions. So we are going to trial the swim exit routine next week, and we're going to have to practice it once or twice in the garden first so that he knows what to do. So once we do that, I will give you a look at what that looks like. I'm feeling a wee bit more confident than I had been, because now I know that in some shape or form I have managed to cycle all of the course, or a replica of the course, without any assistance. So if my bike craps out, my battery runs out, I drop it or whatever, I can get back to the finish line. I'd rather not do it like that, because trust me, some of those hills were really touch and go as to whether I could actually pedal up them, and I've yet to master the art of stand-up pedaling with a peg leg. So I am feeling a bit better. So from here until the taper, I will be riding on Rouvy round Wanaka. You can bet your life on it. It is 7 AM. I am already on my way to Dunedin, to the limb centre for parts. It's 20 degrees and it's 7 AM. Great. Hour and a half in, stop in Balclutha for a coffee. 1 hour to go. Just arrived at the limb centre in Dunedin. I left my house at 7:30 and I've been to the bike shop to drop the bike off for them to just do a last minute service. What we're doing today is we're getting a quick change connector put in here, and I will explain why that is in another video. Sitting in the limb centre waiting for Ryoji to do the thing he does with my legs. I just thought I'd point out something that you don't often mention when you're an amputee, but you have to deal with all the time, and that is chafing. My leg, when I cycled 3.5 hours the other day, has been chafing on the back. I fiddled around with the settings of the cleat, and yeah, now Ryoji's having to shave a little bit off the back of the socket, as well as fixing my socket that I fell over on and cracked, and putting my exchangeable part on so I can change bits and bobs. Anyway, it'll all become apparent when Peter and I start to practice transitions. Meanwhile, I need some coffee. I'm reading a book whilst I wait. It is now 1 o'clock. I've been at the limb centre for 2.5 hours, and I've just picked up the bike. It's had its final service, and now I'm driving home. So I left this morning at 7:30, and I probably won't get back until 5 o'clock. Yesterday I got home at 5 o'clock. That was a mighty long day from a 7 o'clock start and all that driving and whatnot. I have got all my bike leg, walk leg, run leg bits and bobs, and Peter and I need to now practice some transitions so that we can make this more slick, because I'm doing something slightly different this time. My plan is to use a foot to get between the different disciplines, whereas before I used crutches. I'm hoping it makes me slightly faster, but we've had to get an extra connecting part to make this possible. I'll show you in another video what that actually means. So yeah, 4 weeks to go. I've got one more long bike ride to do, and I'm planning to do the entire Challenge Wanaka triathlon course on Rouvy, and then we're on to the taper. See you soon.